Hello YouTube, this is the last video that we're going to be making on the iPad. It's basically all our thoughts about everything and whether or not we think it's a good deal. So right now we have the pricing page open. So you can see that it's got the two different prices for the two models, the Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi plus 3G for the 16 gigabyte, the 32 gigabyte, and the 64 gigabyte. It ranges from $500 to $830. Which I think is a very fair price. A lot of people were expecting it to be about $1,000, and I still think that people would have bought it for that. So this is a big price drop. So, and then
It's also, as you can see, like most Macs are relatively expensive, like around $1,000. So if you're not looking forward to like completely changing to Mac, you could also get this and get all the apps and a bunch of other great features it has.
So the features, we've done a video on this, but it's got updated looks for Safari. It's got a large on-screen keyboard, and it has pretty much all the apps like Mail and Photos updated for this display. And it's also got high-definition movie and all the functionality on YouTube instead of just limited features.
Well, we're not sure if it has everything, but it's a lot bigger and more expanded, and easily could have the features that everyone wants.
And it's got an updated look for the App Store, as you can see right here. And it's got a new application called iBooks, which is the competitor for the Kindle, like we said in the features video. So this iBooks app, I think, is a very good idea, and
yeah, currently I could care less. I don't really care, but some other people are very enthusiastic, and that's all they care about on this page.
So we covered most of this in the features video, but this is just going back over it and saying what we think about it. The Spotlight search is updated again. One thing that I don't really like is that that the UI features such as the lock screen, there's not a picture of it here. Let me see if I can find one in the gallery.
But if jailbreakable, it would be very interesting, like what you could do with a device like this.
So I'm looking for a shot of the lock screen, but basically one thing that I don't really like is that the bar at the bottom has been expanded in both dimensions, but the little slider stays the same. I know that that's because they don't want you to have to slide your finger across the whole screen, but I think that just ends up looking kind of weird. So once again, it's very thin, which I think is a plus. It makes it very portable.
And we also, both of us don't like how the icons are very spaced out, and if you can change that either by a mod hack or just in the settings, it'd be really nice.
Yeah, they still have only 4 per row, which I think is a huge oversight. They've got more than twice as much room to put icons in, and they still make it twice per row. 4 times per row. That's just stupid in my opinion. But as for the App Store, they've got all the apps that can run on the
iPod. You can press a button to expand it to like the full screen. It'll be a little more pixelated. I also wanted to mention that there are 140,000 Apple iPad apps, and that's a hell of a lot of apps. And you're going to be able to find an app for anything, and it has like 99% of all the app industry or mobile applications industry is owned by Apple, and that's one of the biggest factors on any of this stuff nowadays.
So they have so you can see here that you can switch back and forth and have it regular sized or full screen, and they have all the apps that can work on it, but I don't think that all the apps will be useful. For instance, like the ones that use the accelerometer and don't rely too much on like dragging around on the screen and pointing and clicking will work, but for the most part, those apps like this that don't really use the touchscreen will be better than those that do.
But it's very nice that they allow this, because if they only use new apps, that would just be a big drag, and I think what they did was as best as they could possibly do for this.
So, yeah, they can't have it too small and handheld, because that's not the point of this.
Because I could just imagine them not being able to play any of the older apps or use any of the older apps. Or even with this new expansion thing, I think it made it so much better, and Apple did a great job on that.
Yeah. And then they've updated the look of the App Store, so you've got much more room to maneuver about. You've got tabs down at the bottom here and other things up at the top. So we don't know too much about that yet, as it hasn't come out yet, but it looks a lot nicer, and it's got a nice cover throw thing there. And one of the biggest things is the iWork, the multi-touch iWork. So Steve Jobs didn't really want this to just be a big iPhone, so they made a multi-touch version of iWork. You've got Keynote, Pages, Numbers, Keynote for presentations, Pages for word processing, and Numbers for spreadsheets.
Which is a great idea if you're going to bring one of these to school, because I'm definitely thinking I'm not going to bring my laptop because that's worth over $1,000 and I can't risk it in the locker room or anything like that. I bring my iPod, which is about half the price of this, which bringing one of these would not be as much of a risk, and it'd be actually maybe accepted into some classroom for some activities.
Apple
it'd be
has
really nice to
Apple
use.
has been definitely gearing most of their products towards education and like going off to college or something. And this is something that's more portable, that you could just slip in and out of your backpack. And I think that having the multi-touch version of iWork run on it is a great idea. Okay. So overall, this is a great thing. It looks really nice. You've got all the pictures here, and there's a 360-degree.
Which we'll show you. First of all, I wanted to mention that they have black edges around it, just like every other Apple product, which makes it bigger with a less screen. As if you've ever seen the screen on the iPod without the case, I did once with disassembling it. It looks very small without the other part, which is kind of a drag because it's bigger to carry, but not as big of a screen. But it's kind of expected for a pad that's that thin.
So overall, this is a huge release. It's obviously not everything that people were expecting is true. Like, there were a lot of rumors that were making it seem way more than it was, but it's a great new product, and I can't wait for it to be released in 2 months. And the pricing is just about perfect. It's a little bit more than the iPhone, but quite a bit less than like getting a laptop or something. So it's perfect if you just don't want to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah, if you don't want to like switch all your stuff over to Apple, you just want something portable, and yeah, pretty much. I was gonna say more, but I forgot.
So that's all we have for now. Please subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.